Hello and welcome to the Deep Talk Podcast, a podcast and community dedicated to learning, growing, and connecting more deeply with ourselves and one another. I'm Madison Brandt, your host. Let's get started with this week's Deep Talk. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Deep Talk Podcast. As always, so happy to have you all here. Oh my goodness, this episode is about being strong, and it's for anyone who is tired of being strong, who is tired of holding on to maybe a relationship, to a job, maybe to a way of being, a lifestyle, a city, maybe to your mental health. Maybe you've just been struggling lately and things feel hard and you're just like, I'm tired of feeling like this. I'm tired of having things be the same, right? Maybe you're in school and you're sick of just continuously working hard to get good grades or to hang in there socially or whatever it is. Maybe you're tired of a friend group, Maybe you're tired of being the strong one in a friend group. There's so many different ways in life that we can feel like we need to be strong, and every single one of us has a part of our life or a moment in our life where that's the case, where we feel like we have to hold on, or where we're just continuously trying our best and we just aren't feeling like we're getting that relief that we so desperately crave. It kind of reminds me of being like poked in the same spot over and over and over again. And it's like, when am I going to get some freaking relief from how I'm feeling? And so for whatever you're feeling like, dang, I'm really tired of feeling like this. I'm tired of not having an answer. I'm tired of not having the relief. I'm tired of just not being able to let go of what I've been holding. I just hope this episode meets your heart wherever you are. Whether you're listening to this on a walk or in the car or wherever. I know what it's like to feel like I have to hold on, to where I feel like I'm being strong over and over again. And I'm like, can people tell that I'm hurting? Can people tell that I'm, holding on so tightly and that like I need support? And so I get it, I know it's tiring to feel like that. And I know you're tired of holding on. And I know you're tired of not getting the support. And I know you're tired of not having the answer. I know you're tired. And I think that's the hardest part about feeling strong or being strong, is that you don't maybe feel strong. You feel like you actually need to not be anymore. When we are at our strongest, especially when other people are like, wow, you're being so strong, that's actually when we are the most like, well, I need support. Why can't you see that I need support? Why can't you see that I need some relief? Sometimes when we appear the most put together, it's actually when we're suffering the most inside. I feel like for me personally, I've had a lot of different experiences where I appear strong, but inside I'm not feeling that way. I think, for one, I had a really hard job a few years ago and I was just working so much, and I feel like a lot of people feel this or have had a job like this, where I was just working so much and I was mentally struggling so much. The amount of times I called my mom crying, I was so lucky to have her support. But I was just struggling so much. And like, even though I had her support, and that is something we all need during this, it didn't take away the fact that I was just like feeling like it was relentless, me needing to work, me needing to try. And sometimes you're trying so hard and it feels like nothing's working. I felt like I couldn't impress my CEO. I felt like I was never doing anything right. And I was like, not only continuously being strong with like how much work output I was giving, it was also like, I'm continuously being strong with how I'm feeling inside about it. Like, I'm not feeling seen here. I'm not feeling good. And holding it together when you don't feel seen or supported in the way you need in that situation is also a different kind of strength. There's different ways we could feel like we're having to be strong. The actual action of what we do, and also all the emotions we hold within that. And I get that. I really do. Another thing I've struggled with in my life has been being strong within singleness. People see you as like the strong, independent person because on the outside you're having all these friends and you're traveling and you're doing amazing things, and it is amazing. But they don't see the loneliness or, the feelings you feel in every day internally, where you're just trying another day to be like, I got it myself. You become so strong when you're single to like do your own dishes and do everything yourself, and you become the one-stop shop for everything. And people forget, because they see it on the outside, that you're thriving because you've had to learn how to thrive. You've had to learn how to be okay alone, and you've had to learn how to do a lot of it without support. Even if your friends and people are there, it doesn't take away from the duty of what it is to be single. I can't always have that support that other people do. And, as strong as I appear, there are moments where I just don't want to have to be. And it feels like I have to continue to be so, right? It's hard. And I think about like mothers who are like, again, I have to get up and do this for my kids. Again, I have to get up, and like, you love the act of it, but you also are struggling with the emotions underneath. And that can be true of feeling like I'm being strong because I have to be. And also there are times where I don't want to be. And that doesn't make you a bad person, even if you're doing a really rewarding job. Even if you are doing something that you care about, that doesn't mean it's not hard to do it. I think it's okay for it to live in the gray. I think it's okay for it to be nuanced, that like you're doing something hard and it is hard to do that. And it's rewarding and it's exhausting. It's beautiful and it's tragic. It's lovely and it's not. And that's the nuance of life. And so I get it. I've had so many experiences, friendships, where you're like, wow, this person's going through a lot right now and I need to be their rock, and it's weighing on me. Or maybe you're just thinking about something a lot right now in your life that needs to change, and that weight of thinking about it and not being sure is heavy. To keep going every day, to find strength even when you're just not clear what the next step is, or you're dealing with these emotions that haven't found their way out yet, it's hard to be strong. And so to anyone who's feeling this way, I see you, I get you, I am you. It's hard to be strong when we don't always feel it. And I want to remind you, that doesn't mean that you aren't. It doesn't mean that you aren't strong just because sometimes it's hard to be. You are strong, and that is beautiful. And you have the strength, and thick skin is given to those who need it. And I know that sometimes that's like the hardest thing to hear, but sometimes we are given thick skin because we need it for the mission we're here to accomplish. I think about the people who have had to be strong. It's because they had something to be strong for. Like the things that we're being strong for are usually either teaching us for something and building that strength for something in the future that we need to be strong for, or we need to be strong for this because of how important it is. Like being a mother, I think about, like, it's so hard, but like the mission is so great. We have to be strong because the reward is so great. It's like the opposite, right? On the opposite of happiness is sadness. When you think about the opposite of everything, it's like the good always opposite and mirrors the bad. It's like, of course, being strong hurts. Of course. And I think that being strong, it's for something. It's always for something. Like, because of how great the reward of this thing is, of course it needs that pain, right? It needs strength for this reward, or you're building strength for something in the future. Think about all the bad relationships I've been in. Oh my gosh, I was building so much strength for the right one. Not only so I could attract it, so I could live in it with that strength. I think about the strength I've built from struggling with mental health. It's to do all the work I do now, to hold people in coaching containers, to be a good friend, to hopefully speak, to do this podcast, to have words to speak to. It's because I felt the pain. And sometimes the strength we build that we don't want is for something. And we have to trust that. And so, yeah, I wonder in what ways that your strength right now is actually needed to get the reward of how beautiful it is of the thing you're doing. That maybe your job is really hard, but maybe that strength is required to build something so beautiful that not a lot of people are. Or I think about, maybe it's for something in the future, right? Like I said, And that's one whole part of it. I also think there's a part of strength that is self-imposed. I think there are sometimes, separate from the strength that we need, there's a strength that we don't need. And I think it takes that time to reflect to really understand that. But sometimes we're strong because we are refusing to ask for help or receive help, or to let go where we need to. And so on one hand, it's so good to be strong, and there are times where we need it, and there are times in life where we just have to push through because that's how it is. And then I wrote this down on the other hand, right? Do you have to be strong, or are you choosing to hold on? Do you have to be strong, or are there ways in which you're not letting go? And so I also want to ask that question. That question begs the internal reflection of us of like, do we have to be so strong? Are there ways we can ask for support? Are there ways we can actually let people in? Are there steps we can take to make things easier in our life? And a lot of that is internal. A lot of times we hold on because we believe that it's being strong makes us worth something, right? Working really hard in your grad program to get all A's at the absolute cost of your mental health because you just need to push through and be strong. Yes, you're going through a hard time. You're in a grad program. And in what ways are you pushing yourself or not accepting the fact that maybe it's okay to get a B or C sometimes so that you can have relief? Sometimes we have such high standards for ourselves that actually cost us something. And we have to figure out what the real cost is, right? Sometimes I created a Substack about this. Sometimes we have to get a B somewhere so we can get an A somewhere else. And maybe right now you're giving your A not fully to the right place. It's not fully the wrong place, but maybe it's not the fully right place. Maybe right now you need to get B's and C's in your grad program because no one is going to look at those grades really after school. The thing you're doing it for is your ego, right? Of just feeling like you're high achieving, right? Maybe you need to get an A in your mental health. Maybe you need to learn how to be okay with not achieving perfectly all the time so that you can be happy. Maybe school gets B's and C's, and maybe that's good enough. Maybe you're pushing through and trying to be so strong. And it's good to do good in school. It's good to care. And do you need to have to feel like you hold your breath for 4 years? Or can you let yourself breathe? Can you let yourself be strong and supported? And supported by yourself sometimes. Sometimes it's the strength of not having to be strong, right? Or maybe you're a mother, like I said, and you are tired. Do you need daycare? Do you need extra support? Are there ways where it's okay to be a little bit imperfect as a mother? You know? Other things, right? Maybe you are in a stage of life where you're not sure what's next and you're being really hard on yourself to have the answers. You are feeling like you're just having to be strong right now, paddling through life without being clear. In what ways are you pushing strength upon yourself instead of just letting yourself be like compassionate with yourself about the not knowing? You know, I think a lot of it is internal. We have to learn what to let go of and what to ask for, right? How can I ask for support? And also, what can I stop holding on to? And that challenges like our society's overworking and productivity and doing well all the time mindset. But I don't think it's doing well to always be pushing ourselves past, a certain level. I think it's okay to accept a B in an area so you can get an A somewhere else. Like I think about the stories I shared of me being in a job that was not right for me. Like I was trying so hard to hang on when I would have been really healed from just letting go, and they ended up laying me off, and it was like the best gift. I wish I had chosen it, but it was the best gift. And I realized, oh my gosh, I don't have to live like this. There are things like that where the actual thing we're doing, we're holding on really hard to something that we actually need to let go of. And maybe that's just a mindset. Maybe it's a mindset that we need to drop of that we have to be like everybody else, or that we need to know the answers now, or that, Maybe you need to actually let go of the job. Maybe you need to let go of the mindset that it needs to be figured out right now. Like, there are things you're holding on to that actually, if you drop them, you'll realize that I heard this quote the other day that said, if you're strong enough to hold on, you're strong enough to let go. We hold on because of our ego. It wants to know that we're doing well. It wants to hold so tightly onto the vision of life that we've decided must be right for ourselves. It really likes to grip. And sometimes we have to be like, wow, am I being strong because it's actually what I want for myself? Or is it what I think I need to do to impress society, or the version of myself I thought I wanted to be that I actually don't want to be anymore? And then there's the other kind of strength of things that are like being single or being a mom, or things that or you're in grad school. They're like things that you're in and you can't really change them, right? You can't just like not do the job anymore. That's a different kind of strength. It's the strength of like, I'm just in this and there really isn't a way out of not being single right now. There are steps you can take, but like you can't fully end it exactly when you want, especially when you're waiting for the right thing. Or, if you have kids, you're like, I have to take care of my kids. Or if you're in a relationship, you're like, and you're figuring things out with this person, it's hard and it's like you're committing to it. It's just hard right now and you feel like you have to be strong. Or you're having a friend that's struggling a lot right now and you feel like you have to be the strong one for them and you want to keep the friendship and you're in it. That doesn't mean, though, there aren't places where we can ask for support or let go. Like, if you are an overwhelmed mom, can you ask for daycare support? Can you have your partner do more? Or maybe you're single and it's learning to find relief by getting physical touch, by paying for a monthly massage, or spending more time with friends, or dropping the expectation that you should be in a place that you're not, or getting a dog, or letting go of certain mindsets. Or maybe you have a friend that you have to be strong for right now. In what ways can you set boundaries for yourself and for them, right? I don't know. I think that even if you're in a container where you have to be in it, that doesn't mean you can't make it easier for yourself, even if it's just dropping a mindset that you're holding on to. Sometimes our ego just wants to think that everything should be hard. And it's actually like, it doesn't have to be. We actually need to shift what our ego is living within. So I guess I want to ask you the question again of like, in what ways can you ask for support to make it easier? And what things can you let go of to make it easier? If you are feeling like you have to be so strong, in what ways do you not want to be anymore? Outside of the ego, outside of the expectation, outside of it, like, I truly believe, I'm an Aquarius. I have Aquarius like 6 times in my chart, Aquarius through and through, right? I believe in shifting structures. I believe that we don't have to accept something just because it's what we are given. I believe in changing of systems. I believe that just because you're inside of something, that doesn't mean that it's something you have to accept. My sister's a therapist, and I think what she's doing so amazing, and I've learned so much about therapy and the structures of being a therapist and the system of the world that therapy lives under. And I'm like, wow, I can't imagine how hard it feels to be a therapist. And are there things we can do to adjust how we live inside the systems? Can we shift the system? I don't know. I'm just kind of rambling at this point, but I just think about like, there's so many things that we just accept that we have to be strong for. And maybe in some cases we do, but I think a lot, there are ways we can ask for support or let go of things, even if it's just internally, to give ourselves peace, even if it's just for a chapter. Maybe right now you need to let go of an expectation you're holding for yourself. Just for now. Maybe the strength you actually need is learning to let go of something inside. That can have its own kind of strength and hardship. Letting go of what you thought life was supposed to be like right now and enjoying what it is. I know it's hard to hold on. And I know it's hard to be in moments of our life where we feel like we have to be strong for something. And I know that. Oh gosh, I know. But I want to remind you that that strength is for something. The strength that you build. It'll come in handy for a future relationship, for a future time in your life where you need that strength, We are being built brick by brick every day. I also want to ask, right? On the other hand, like I talked about, in what ways do you actually not need to be as strong as you think? There are people that love you. There are people that want to help you. There are ways to help yourself that are even from yourself. And so, yeah, I guess for anyone who's feeling like really tired of being strong, maybe you don't have to be as strong as you think. Maybe there's strength in vulnerability and letting go. But overall, I think that there is at least one step we can take in the situation we're in to make it easier for ourselves. I love you so much, and humanness is hard. I don't know if it'll ever not be. I think it's a human condition to struggle, but suffering, I think, can be a choice. I think suffering is where we stay past our due. And I think I just want to leave you with that like humanness is hard and life is hard. And also because it is, what ways do you need to let yourself off the hook? And what ways do you need to not be strong? Because life is already hard enough. Don't make it harder. Go get out a journal if you have the time and think about it, or reflect. And notice the tension between what you want to do and the parts where your ego is like, no. Where you're like, I just want to get a B or C. But your body's like, you must get an A. Notice where you're trying to drive yourself into strength when actually where you need is peace. Sometimes we have to create a capacity for peace and for relaxation because we've created such a one for high achieving and strength. And sometimes the uncomfortable part is creating a greater capacity for letting go and sitting in the tension of wanting to do more and not, and learning how to create a smaller capacity for all that you've been holding, that maybe it's time to not hold so much anymore. I love you. I see you. And I'm sending you some of my own strength today to carry you through whatever you're going through. But again, reflect. I hope this helps. I hope this sparks something within you. And just know that I love you deeply. Please DM me if you need anything. Leave a comment if this supported you in any way. And just know that I'm with you. You're not alone in this life. You never have been. And I hope this episode reminds you of that. I hope the people around you remind you of that. And yeah, sending so much love. I'll talk to you soon. And you're lovely and beautiful and amazing. And I'm so proud of you every day for the strength you carry and the strength that you don't. You're always worthy to me and to many and to the universe. Okay. Let's sign off. I love you, strong ones. I'll talk to you soon.